In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Dear viewers of An Introduction to Islam, Assalaamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Once again, I welcome you to these episodes of An Introduction to Islam. Actually, we are going to go through the pillars of Islam after the unity of God. We are going to speak about the second pillar of Islam, which is the resurrection or ma'ad, which means the resurrection of the dead. Let's start with the meaning of ma'ad. The root of ma'ad is aud, which means to return or to come back. As on the day of resurrection, souls will be made to return to their bodies. It is called ma'ad. Ma'ad is one of the principles of the holy religion of Islam, and to have faith in it is absolutely essential or obligatory, and it is that everyone will, after his death, become alive again and would be rewarded or punished according to one's beliefs and deeds. We have two main topics to cover: the logical arguments for proving the possibility and necessity of ma'ad, and the characteristics of the hereafter. Let's start with the logical arguments or the rational possibility of resurrection, the reason of wisdom, and also the reason of justice. We are going to speak about these two reasons. As for the reason of wisdom, we read in the Holy Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. Did you think that we created you uselessly and you would not be returned to us? This is in the chapter 23, that is Surah Al-Mu'mineen, verse number 115. In another verse of the Holy Quran, we read, وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا لَاعِبِينَ مَا خَلَقْنَاهُمَا إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَهُمْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ إِنَّ يَوْمَ الْفَصْلِ مِيقَاتُهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. And we did not create the heavens and the earth and what is between them in vain. We created them based on truth and divine purposes, but most of these people do not understand. Verily, the resurrection day is the day of separation between truth and falsehood, and it is the time appointed for all. And this is in the chapter 44, that is Ad-Dukhan, verses 38 to 40. This argument is based on the wisdom of God. God is wise, and the whole universe is not created absurd and futile and without any aim. God's love for goodness and perfection is in God's essence, so He has created the universe in a way that it can acquire the highest possible goodness and perfection. As this material world is not capable of attaining this perfection, God's wisdom makes it necessary for Him to pave the way for His creatures to reach to their utmost possible perfection. In other words, the creation must have the best system. As the human beings have immortal souls that can acquire the utmost eternal perfections, which are not comparable to the material perfections, if we say that their life is limited to this material life, this is totally against God's wisdom. This is more understandable when we see that the material life is always enfolded by the sufferings and calamities and difficulties. If the human life is nothing except suffering, everyday difficulties, and quarreling with natural and social problems in order to have some times of happiness and joy and rest, and after that he has to sleep so that he can restart this process again, it is obvious that the logical result of such a life would end in nihilism. On the other hand, one of the essential human instincts is the love for eternity, that the hands of creation has put it inside him, and it is like an activating power toward this end. Now imagine that the fate of such a moving object is to hit severely to the wall and get crushed and finish within a second. This question is raised that does that instinct and enthusiasm toward eternity harmonize with this fate? As a conclusion, as a result, the existence of such an innate or natural instinct, which is the love for eternity, is in consistency with God's wisdom only if there is a life beyond this material, mortal, limited, and temporary life, which has the capacity of maintaining the deserved rewards and punishments for our deeds. The second reason, which is the reason of justice, actually, this is a very simple and tangible argument for every one of us. We know that there are good people and bad people in this world. Those who do their best to act upon their social and moral duties and be kind to others and not trespass their limits and even never think of being harmful to others. And on the other hand, we also see those who do not recognize the rights of other people and always play bad roles in the society and do not neglect to do whatever they wish, even if it is against other people's rights, like the killers or thieves or rapists and so on and so forth. Now, is this material world capable of rewarding the good doers as they deserve it, or punish the wrongdoers according to justice? Surely not. Imagine someone who killed 10 people, even if we believe in retaliation, which is an Islamic punishment for the killer. We see that that he deprived 10 people of the right to live, and we took his only life in return. Is it in consistency with real justice? Now, shortly in parenthesis, see what happens to the Western countries who abolished the death penalty. This killer can kill others during the life imprisonment, and nothing more than the same situation comes to him in return. Actually, this is not the topic of our discussion now, but it is important to think about it too. As for the Quranic verses about this reason, we read in the Holy Quran, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, أم نجعل الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كالمفسدين في الأرض أم نجعل المتقين كالفجار. Do you think that we shall treat the believers and the righteous like the mischief makers on the earth? Or do we consider the pious like the corrupt? This is in the Surah Al-Sad, that is chapter 38 and verse number 28. In the other verse we read, أم حسب الذين اجترحوا السيئات أن نجعلهم كالذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات سواء محياهم ومماتهم ساء ما يحكمون. Do those who do evil deeds presume that we shall consider them equal with those who believe and do righteous deeds in this world, and equal will be their life and their death? This is an evil judgment. This is in the Surah Al-Jathiyah, verses 21 and 22. As a conclusion, there must be another abode that is capable of rewarding and punishing as someone deserves it. Otherwise, it will be against God's justice. As the second topic, we have the characteristics of the hereafter. Ma'ad, which begins with death and then passes through grave and then barzakh, which is translated into limbo, and then Qiyamah al-Kubra, or the great resurrection, and ends with either paradise or hell, cannot be comprehended by the apparent senses. And even though the occurring of the original ma'ad or resurrection is provided by logic or brain, it is impossible for the one to ponder in solitude over it and to understand what will happen after death and through which stages one will have to pass. For understanding this, there is no way except to rely on and take help from the divine revelation, because man, wherever he is, his power of understanding cannot cross the limits of his world. For example, it is impossible for a baby in the womb to get the idea of the outside world and to fathom its vastness. Similarly, it is also beyond his powers to understand the endlessness of this space and to know about the things therein. Likewise, the man who lives in this world like a captive of matter and nature cannot have the ability to understand the world of angels and spirits, which is hidden from him. To reach that state will be possible only after getting freedom from this material world. In short, a man who is living in this material world can never be able to know the details of the world after death, unless he puts faith and trusts in the truths made known by the creator of this universe. So if anyone says that it is far from my brain that such and such thing will happen after death, then his saying so is absolutely unacceptable, because the conditions and events after death have no relation with the bodily brain. Even if all the thinkers and philosophers join together and make collective efforts to understand the conditions beyond death in the other world, through the materials available on them to them, in this earthly life, they can never succeed in their maneuverings. So if we do have any source, it is only those things and those words which the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his holy progeny have shown to us. Hence, we also confirm them as all of those great persons who are infallible are those to whom God Almighty, the Lord of the universe, sends His words. The resurrection is so important because we see that nearly 2/3 of the verses of the Holy Quran refer to this matter. So it is very much recommended not to restrict your research about this life-changing reality to this clip, and do spend more time reading and questioning about it. In the end, I leave you with some other useful websites that will help you in finding the truth. As you see on the screen, we have shiaanswer.net, eng.alshia.org, imamreza.net, and nen.wikishia.net. Once again, I ask you for your participation and to let us know about your views on these series of lessons through the following ways, and that is info@onlinehausa.com, or use this number on the screen, and use the social media like WhatsApp or Telegram in order to contact me, and you can ask your questions whenever you want. Until next time, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.